At the center of a multitude of international conflicts is, of course, Joe Biden's war on American energy.
And taking center stage this week is the war in Israel. Joining us now to explain is FreedomWorks chief economist, the great Steve Moore. Steve, good to see you. Now, you're writing about what Dagan and I have talked about on this show, I think, for the last several days, if not months, if not years.
First day of the show.
Right. First day of the show.
Yeah.
But again, dismantling American energy is enriching our enemies. Your take, explain further.
Yeah, thanks. And Dagan, you really nailed it earlier in the show, and I just want to kind of punctuate some of the points that you made. First of all, we have been talking about this for almost 2 years now, that the Biden war on American oil and gas, which of course started with his first act as president, remember when he killed the Keystone XL pipeline, is an indication that he was going to do all he could to shut down American oil and gas. And so we've talked in weeks and months past about how this benefited Putin, and you know, Putin was one of the big advantaged by this and pocketed hundreds of millions of dollars and maybe billions. But the other connection here, as you were saying, Dagan, is that the OPEC countries, including Iran, have made huge amounts of money. In fact, you cited a number earlier. I think you said they're producing about 1 or 2 million more barrels a day. Dagan, did I hear you right?
Well, they're producing, their production is 3.2 million barrels a day, headed to about maybe 3.5 by now. I mean, their goal is 3.5, and then they're exporting at least 2 million barrels a day.
Yeah. Now that, just to give you a sense of that 2 million, guess what? In the United States, because of Biden's policies, we're down 2 or 3 million barrels a day. Right. So Biden's policies have helped Iran in two ways. And by the way, we know these petrodollars are what are financing Hamas. Number one, because we're producing less oil, that's raised the global price of oil. So Iran benefits from a higher price, but also they and other OPEC countries have made up the difference in terms of production. So it's as you guys said, it is a policy that makes absolutely no sense. It's not like this is stopping climate change, because the world's still consuming record amounts of oil. It's just not coming from Texas and Oklahoma and North Dakota. Now it's coming from enemy states like Iran.
The only thing worse than a moron is a dangerous moron. And that's who we have in the White House. Because what Biden and company have done with the ghoul John Kerry is they're worried about the appearance of producing oil and natural gas here in the United States. But they're worried about gas prices being too high. So what they've done is looked the other way, allowed Iran to produce and export oil to make sure that it tamps down the global energy price. But at the same time, if they really are worried about global warming, they would know that an oil derrick over there has the same climate impact. Actually, it's worse for the climate than an oil derrick here.
Yeah,
that,
worse.
Again, dangerous moronacy.
Well, well said. And I would just simply add another part to this story that I know you've talked about before, but it needs to be repeated. We are at a record low. You guys know this. We're at a record low amount of our strategic petroleum reserve. You know, we have a strategic petroleum reserve precisely because of a crisis like this. And Biden's depleted it to keep the to try to keep the gas price from rising. And now we're close to running on empty. I mean, how stupid is that?
Climate change is a global threat, but it's not about temperatures. It's about the global instability that has been created by Joe Biden's climate change policies. Steve Moore, always a pleasure to see you, and always